I want to explain this situation with the Epstein documents a little bit more, because I've talked about how Pam Bondi is doing the Epstein documents, and she's from Florida, and the documents are about the Miami area. And like, what is it about? Virginia's from a very exclusive club that no one's allowed to go to unless they're a member, and it's like a members only club that is so expensive called Mar-a-Lago. And she was doing sex work and being trafficked by a guy from Mar-a-Lago. And before that, she was being trafficked. She was turned into a prostitute by a guy named Eppinger, who also has strong ties at Turnstile Isle and the Jockey Club, and indicated that there would be potential business at these locations. All three of these clubs mentioned by Eppinger are well-known hangouts by organized crime members in the Miami area. These three locations have been virtually impenetrable to law enforcement due to the expense of membership and the presence of numerous former police officers working as security personnel in these complexes. So these clubs are connected to this guy Meyer Lansky, this guy Anthony Salerno, and this guy Vincent Allo. So this is Jimmy Blue Eyes, who doesn't go by his name Vincent. This is Fat Tony, and this is Meyer Lansky, the head of the Russian Mafia, who built the Flamingo Hotel. So this guy Eppinger was who Virginia was a prostitute for, at like working at private clubs before she got a job at a different private club, which was Mar-a-Lago. And Trump has how many transfers from Russian bank accounts? Over $1 billion worth of transfers to Epstein. So here's it's talking about the Russian mafia connection to Eppinger. And you can actually see what it says, and it's pretty clear. The document also was tampered with, so it's very difficult to read the section that's about this part specifically that I found before, about like these dirty cops, because it's about like the mobsters own the cops, and we can't get through because they have these, because it's way too expensive to even be around the mobsters ever, because they're at Mar-a-Lago. And everyone that works there, and they have all these like ex-cops, they know all the cop stuff. The last thing I want to mention is the situation in which Virginia is dead, because like remember, Virginia Giuffre is dead. She went to Australia, dead. Someone else died too, like someone that was testifying against some twins who were connected to the Kardashians, which I've said it's Kanye that much. But she's dead. Carolyn Andriano, who was a survivor, she died of overdose, and there are over 1,000 victims apparently. So how can you have over 1,000 victims? They had modeling agencies in Eastern Europe, and they would trick girls into becoming prostitutes. It's like, well, this is how you pay your way, basically, after they were already there. So a lot of the time, I think they were like in Ukraine and stuff like that. I found a lot of my friends' twins in like Russia and Ukraine and stuff like that. And so like these girls will think that they're 21 years old or like 26 when they're actually like 10 or like 13. A 26-year-old would probably be like 13. And so she's a little over the hill. I mean, yeah, she'll just do it. I mean, she knows like she needs to make money. Like she's in that kind of situation. She's that poor. And so Trump's money originally came from a Canadian brothel. So she was in charge of the cop. Like if you have a lawyer going after you, it's an attorney general, right? Or a district attorney. So she was the biggest sending cop after you person in the state of Florida. And so like the Epstein documents are about like over 1,000 victims that were like girls from Eastern Europe, especially, who thought they were going to a modeling agency and they became prostitutes. So the guy who owned the modeling agency, he killed himself in jail too. Everyone's just killing themselves in jail. I looked around jail once. You can't kill yourself. Like, it's that hard to kill yourself. Like, you're not going to kill yourself, trust me. Like, you don't know how to kill yourself if you want to. But everyone connected to Trump's dead, and no one notices it because the cops in the Epstein documents are dirty cops connected to like Fat Tony and Meyer Lansky, the guy from the Flamingo Hotel, Trump has casinos in Vegas, and so did Meyer Lansky. But he did casinos in Cuba too, and that's probably why the Cubans hate us. And then there's Vinny Blue Eyes or Jimmy Blue Eyes. the last thing I want to mention is that I'm from a crime family, and so when Trump's grandfather was my dad a crime boss? Definitely. Is my brother a crime boss? That's my brother's twin. Yes, that's the clone of Alexander. So I don't know who that guy is, but when I see him, I think he looks familiar. And when they have plastic surgery, like sometimes they don't look like them, and sometimes they do. Like if you might see me like that, and you're like, oh, that's him, because like it might not work if you're straight on because my nose is crooked, and so. It's hard to see through plastic surgery sometimes, and they're clones that have had plastic surgery that are that involved with the cops and involved with the government. Because if you think about it, like you can be a criminal and make, like he sold a pill of ecstasy and made freaking like $8, like being terrified. Or you can own the United States government's budget, and they want to own the budget, and so. But previously they were not American. Like they hated America. They were like they thought communism was going to win. They wanted to be the Russian government, and then what happened is we started inventing things, and our economy was kicking their ass so bad that they had to go and take America. But they've been in America like always too. But they aren't. But like it was more like they were stealing from us. Like they were like rigging sporting events. Like my dad played for the Big Red Machine. Like when I was a very small child, and my dad, like my earliest memory is my dad telling me that he played for the Big Red Machine. He broke his leg sliding into second base, but like I'm pretty sure my dad was actually Johnny Bench, and I think that like the reason he's one of the greatest hitters of all time, the reason Pete Rose is one of the greatest hitters of all time, is because of like pitchers throwing easy pitches to him, and I think they still rig sporting events, and it's like Vegas people, and that's how they pay drug dealers. And their drug dealers are like super psycho killer black people, especially. Like it's hard to explain how they have drained. These black people have it like in there. They're like on drugs while listening to a kill, shooter, kill him, just kill that nigga, just kill him, just kill that nigga, just kill that nigga. And it's like they're taking acid, and it's like just kill the nigga, just kill the nigga, kill the nigga. And like I need a gun. Like, and like they're very, very killing type people, but I think it's because the mafia likes stealing people's money. Like you get too rich, they'll kill you and steal your money. He's the one that knows your password for your Bitcoin. So they don't like paying their drug dealers a lot, and they're really scary. And I think that if there's anything you can know is how much they're in charge of like judges through like the president. I wanted to talk about the situation I'm in a little bit because my age was changed by sex traffickers by over 10 years. And like, I thought I was an adult when I was like 5 years old. And I accused this guy of being involved with organized crime, which involves like sex trafficking of underage people. He's 21 Savage. He did this interview that you can look up on YouTube. And he says Atlanta's a pedophile. And he's talking about how he was like a kid going to clubs and stuff. And like, he was like talking about how there are different types of gangsters. They're like hustlers, and then they're street niggas. And he was like, which kind are you? Oh, he's like, I'm a street nigga. Like he was like, yeah, like I kill people and stuff. And like that's what a street nigga is. Like a hustler just like sells and stuff like that. He doesn't cause problems. He just sells drugs and stuff. Street nigga kills people and sells drugs in their territory. And 21 Savage, like, okay, Drake's 21 Savage's friend, and Drake and 21 Savage make some pretty scary music, if you've heard it. I've said the Holy Spirit's writing songs for people to catch them. And like Trump's going after the Mexicans and he's going after Nicolas Maduro for selling drugs. But like he gets NBA YoungBoy out of jail. Why is that? Because the black people are actually like the super criminals. Like Rick Ross talks about like how he's a clone and drug dealer's dream. Basically, he's like in the next life his homie's balling because like he's gonna be cloned. So I've been fighting against these people online. I've been like go if you go against Kanye, you'd never believe how dangerous it is to go against the black people, but it's also going against Trump and like the FBI and stuff like that. And so, but the way I really got famous was by finding the name of Yeza, because everyone thinks Jesus' name is Jesus, but like it's in this lineage right here, Yeza in Codex Sinaiticus, and here it's Yeza on, and I talked about how they're ons, and here you can see the dot on Jacob, It's Jakob, and it would be Yuda, but I think that's Yada. And so there are these clones that have been around a long time. This is Pam Bondi and her husband. He looks familiar. Pam Bondi's who's like releasing the Epstein documents, because the Epstein documents not about underage girls that don't know their age, that are clones that are that like are getting trafficked, like where they'll clone my friend from Baylor's and then put her in Eastern Europe, and she's so poor, and she ends up being a prostitute. Because she's so poor in Eastern Europe and she doesn't even speak the language. Next thing you know, she's like in Israel and stuff like that. So these clones robbed our banks, and they robbed our banks so much that they caused the Great Depression. And they were cops back then. This guy was from the FBI. Doesn't he look like Doctor Who? Yes. So Doctor Who was investigating the bank robbers. He killed Pretty Boy Floyd. It was very, very good of him. No. I've been talking about this situation where these clones control everything, including the cops. I showed Pam Bondi's husband, who looks like someone I've seen from TV. But the real clone that I was looking for is the guy from MGM who did the music for Baby It's Cold Outside, who looks like this guy. I found him in the film, and once I found him, his name was Arnaud. I had to look him up and go read a thesis on him, because I know this guy's like my arch enemy. This is a guy from Sanctus Real. This is a guy from church. And it's my brother. And so I looked him up, and I wanted to go see what this guy's like. And it turns out he'll explain, like, he had a period where he had a little bit of a reputation for being a jerk. I had a very bad reputation. I was always late. I talked too much. And above all, I was always fighting in the clubs. Never with the musicians, of course, but with some of the clients who were drunk. I was young, handsome, I danced while I played. The girls began to look at me, smile at me, and I did the same. Before the end of the night, the guys were jealous and wanted to kill me, and that was enough for me to be fired. It's incredible how wild I was at that time. The thing is, if you know this guy, he doesn't actually talk like that. He actually talks like Cartman. He talks a little bit like me sometimes. He's not fat. He's just big boned. I promise. Like and it turns out he's Alexander the Great. His friends called him Alexander the Great. He's a clone of who I've said is Satan. And Alexander the Great tried to be Amendia. Like he had the horns like Amun Ra, like he has the horns. And so that's the sun god. And but he also has the pitchfork that's Poseidon. He's Neptune. That's what this is from, Neptune's daughters. So that guy's clone has been around a very long time, and he made it so no one can read the Bible. He was Ka Satan, Ta'ata, and he was Jukak. He was the cock. And so cock's a bad word. Don't talk about cack. But really, like, I think that's like the leader. That's like the emperor, and he was a clone of Moses. And he didn't like Yeza, and so he really is a clone of Cartman. Like, if you ask me who Satan is, he's a clone of Cartman. So what happened is I started like going against the FBI, I think, too much, and I was trying to talk about like people murdering people and covering up things, like covering up for the Austin bomber, getting assassinated by blowing him up, and like I was talking about like stuff that was really pissing people off, and like I got in trouble for illegal speech, and like I didn't get a trial, which like it's a very long story, but like the real issue is like that these clones are so powerful, and it's hard to explain how like you'll never believe how wonderful Katy Perry is. Like, I mean, I don't know if I have her picture down here. Oh, well, that girl would be Katy Perry's twin. I can't see my finger, but it's the black and white in the middle, and like that's actually what she looks like. She doesn't look like herself. She's had plastic surgery, and like if you know like who you're going against, it's like the sweetest freaking clone in the world. Don't make someone so you're going against Rainbow Satanica, and you'll never see it coming when like Rainbow Satanica is a 160 IQ. And so, but they're not Rainbow Satanica. They're full-sized, generally, but they are cloning Rainbow Satanica, and who knows, like, what they're doing with Rainbow Satanica. She has to worry about getting kidnapped and stuff like that. She has to worry about the fact that she's doing sex stuff on the internet, and that can be used as an advertisement for someone like Trump, who's selling these little people into sex slavery. Like what they've talked about in the Epstein documents is like a girl in Eastern Europe, like getting locked in a basement or when she got to Israel, where she's from Eastern Europe. She thinks she's going to be a model or something, and next thing you know, she's in a basement, like having sex for a living. And like, I don't, and like that could happen like all over the world. Like where I lived in Egypt, I wouldn't be surprised if like they've got some rainbow satanicas there. And like, I think that should disturb us all. And it's been years that these people have not talked about it publicly because they own the media, because they have unlimited money. And like, he talks about how like Atlanta's a pedophile. Dude, Dallas is a pedophile is what he would see. I would never doubt Dallas is a pedophile. And I would never doubt that like Los Angeles is a pedophile. I mean, he knows he hangs out in Los Angeles a lot. Apparently Miami's a pedophile, and that's like what the Epstein documents are about, like the Russian mafia pimping Virginia and turning her into a prostitute. And then after she's already a prostitute, then her dad goes, I got you a job at the spa, at Trump's spa. Trump didn't know anything about that. She's a prostitute at my spa. No, she wasn't. Epstein got her to do it. Everyone's just trying to get Virginia to be a prostitute. Do you guys all have everyone just trying to get you to be a prostitute? Because like if you're cloning people, then it would definitely be your dad who gets you a job at the spa. And my dad is the guy who wrote Full Metal Jacket. He's Private Joker. He was Rocky. But he was called the Duke when he was in Vietnam. And if you watch Full Metal Jacket, I don't know what I've been told, Eskimo Pussy's mighty cold.